Scenic Southern California on this Saturday night. Never has the USL had more games between its pre-professional and professional leagues on one day than today. And it's only right that it concludes here with Orange County and Detroit City. With the Guyana legend Chris Nurse, Mike Watts on hand. And these are two teams in very different places as we enter June. Let's start with Orange County. This is a group that has to be frustrated. They fall 2-0 to Loudoun. They lose their center back to a red card. They lose their coach to a red card. And Loudoun had their number twice in a month's time.
Yeah, Orange County, I thought they were actually having an uptick, but they've had a bad run of form recently, and you could see it here today. It's going to be interesting seeing that defense that we've spoken about. They've conceded 9 goals in their past 4 games.
It's a run in which they have lost all 4 in all competitions and Loudoun the late penalty, the insurance they needed. Our Omega accounting player to watch, a guy who can really turn it around, Brian Olowski.
Yeah, Olowski is one of the most defensive players that they have in this team. He's capable of picking up the ball and creating, as well as scoring opportunities himself. But I think really where the Achilles heel is for Orange County right now, they need to tighten up the defense. They need to stop conceding so many goals. At the moment, they're averaging 2 goals a game conceded. For Olowski and the attacking players to be creative, to create opportunities and win in the game, they need the defense to be a little bit more solid. In attack, of course, Olowski is going to be that guy that they rely on, but really defense is where they need to work on solidifying things.
He'll be key with Sorto out and then Miles out defensively for Orange County. Now, conversely, great start. Missed punch by Loss, knocked home by Detroit. They're up 1-0. They end up getting smashed 5-1 midweek. Yeah, Louisville, obviously one of the most successful storied team in the USL Championship. They went down, but it's a team that knows how to come back from adversity. They have players who have been in this position many times before. They've been in the championship. They won championships. They don't panic in these situations. They find a way to win the game, and in this situation, that's exactly what they did. Came back fighting, 5-1 victory in the end. Spoke to Danny Cruz, the Louisville head coach, after this game concluded, and he described this a very good Detroit team, one that ultimately got the wrong end of it by the time it was all said and done. Detroit, on the heels of a great Open Cup run, fall to Louisville 5-1. They'll try and turn that around here tonight. All right, here we go in Orange County, Detroit City and Orange County set to match up at the Champ. Detroit's been here, but it was in their old NISA days. They'll try and take all 3 points tonight, get on the right side of the ledger. Got lineups and kickoff imminent here in Irvine as the championship Saturday night concludes in SoCal.
And the best start since 2011 for OCSC continues. 4 unbeaten to start the campaign.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was obsessed with getting ready.
I wanted the best doctor who could help me with my birthing plan.
Nice maternity suites, and a level 3 NICU in case anything went wrong.
Lactation specialists and help getting my body back. I wanted a place that would care for me as a whole person.
Welcome to world-class maternity care for all of you. Hoag Women's Health Institute. You belong here.
Kids grow up fast. You know when I first started noticing it? When I stopped getting hugs. With Command IQ, I found a way to get the hugs back. Watch.
Dad, the Wi-Fi is down.
Oh, let me see if I can fix it.
It's back. Thanks, Dad. You're the best.
With Command IQ, you can bring the hugs back.
Patterson Kia, where it's all about you. I'm John Patterson from the all-new Mission Viejo Kia, and we're celebrating August with the new Kia Forte lease for as low as $195 a month, only at Patterson Mission Viejo Kia. Visit the largest Kia service center in Orange County at Mission Viejo Kia. No appointment necessary, award-winning customer service, and available service loaners today. Experience the difference at Mission Viejo Kia, where it's all about you. Patterson Kia, where it's all about you.
Orange County and Detroit City set to match up This match presented by IPA Physio, the official physical therapy partner of Orange County Soccer Club. This match is presented in part by Raising Cane's, the official chicken finger of Orange County SC. Let's take a look at the starting lineups as the teams make their way out onto the field here in Orange County. We start with OCSC. So Morten Carlson unable to be on the sideline, but this is the ticket he submitted.
Yeah, and they've gone with a fairly defensive formation, 4-1-4-1 formation, which allows them to have good possession and building out a play, but also get a lot of numbers behind the ball when they don't have possession of the ball. In contrast, Detroit City, that seem they'll be lining up in a 4-2-3-1 formation, allows them to have a lot of density centrally, but they're a little bit scarce in the wide areas. So it's going to be interesting to see as the game progresses whether they're able to exploit those wide areas or if everything is central through Maxi Rodriguez and Bizarro.
Your lineups are brought to you by Zolfagari Law Firm. Danny Dicchio submitting that 11 that sees 5 changes from the midweek game away to Louisville. They came out to Southern California looking to change the momentum. They started a perfect 5-0-0. Here we go on this Saturday night, Orange County hosting Detroit City.
And it's interesting to look at Orange County's dip in form recently. As we spoke about, they conceded 9 goals in their past 4 games, losing 4 of their last 5. We wondered how they were going to cope with things in the post-Milanilowski era. Obviously, a player who had such a big impact on this team offensively. Everything in goal scoring over the past 3 years has come through Milanilowski, and they seem to start off the season pretty well. Defensively strong, converted chances. Milanilowski stepped up alongside a number of other players. However, recently, conceding a lot of goals, losing 4 games in a row. You just sense that the momentum has turned. They now find themselves in 8th place, occupying the last playoff position. It's going to be interesting to see the character of the players in this situation.
There's Nate Steinwasser, the Detroit goalkeeper. Orange County has only scored 12 goals in 11 games in league play without that former Golden Boot winner who was sold to Europe over the winter. Ball blasted in by Jaffal. Shuttler stepped forward. Detroit does welcome back Maxi Rodriguez, and not a moment too soon. That's the guy who really comes up with the clutch moments. It's also, to your point, very sturdy back line between Steinwasser and the 2 defenders you've got in the middle in front of him, Amu Mensah and Carroll. Should be able to withstand Orange County on this night. Steinwasser pushing everybody away from goal.
And of course, while it's a little bit too early in the season to be analyzing who's in the playoff position, who's out of the playoff positions, of course, at any phase in the season, you want wins, you want momentum, you want that mentality, that winning mentality kicking in throughout. So both of these teams right now are languishing, you'd say, mid-table, not necessarily setting the world on fire, but they are in and amongst the post-season positions.
Amang got held off admirably by Carroll. You don't need to lead the most laps to win the title, but you do need to be in the hunt, don't you?
Yeah, and you definitely have to have a winning mentality throughout the course of the season. I always think it's very hard when teams lose for 3/4 of the season, pick up a little bit of momentum towards the end of the season, and then expect to win the playoffs. Of course, it can happen, and it does happen. Orange County were a benefit of that not so long ago. But more often than not, the team that's more consistent, builds momentum, has a winning mentality, and players that are on fire have that postseason success.
Zuback watches this spin out of play. Dicchio leads the Detroit City side on this occasion. First year at the helm, took over from Trevor James, who stepped out of the technical area and into the technical box upstairs. Amang played it outside. That was denied.
I might be showing my age here, but do you remember when
Flood crossing, that sent away and a foul by Orange County.
Remember when Danny Dicchio was a striker in the Premier League with Sheffield Wednesday?
See, I remember him more from his Toronto FC days, which shows my true age.
I had to be showing my age to be rolling back the years there.
And meanwhile, it's Paul Hardiman. Talk about another guy with a little Premiership experience leading this Orange County side tonight as the acting manager. Morten Carlson wearing his tight jeans elsewhere in the venue. Suspended for comments made toward the referee in the immediate aftermath of the game against Loudoun.
I think we're just seeing how the USL has evolved with the caliber of coaches. As you speak about, we have 2 coaches who have both played at the highest level in the Premier League. But of course, as you also mentioned, the busiest day ever in USL history. Across 3 leagues, USL Championship, USL League One, USL League Two, USL W League, the busiest day in USL
72
history. So we're
matches.
looking at how the game, as well as the USL, has evolved in the United States, that we are able to celebrate days like today.
By the way, I spoke to Morten Carlson this week in the lead up to this game, and of course he works with Paul Hardiman. What's this all going to look like? I did acknowledge that if he wants to stay in for the next game, he can at least speak in Danish to the referee, because he'll probably be able to say whatever he wants, and it won't truly be noted until the referee's already got into the locker room.
I think the referee should learn, they should research the coaches and learn the bad words of those languages prior to games, so that they can catch them out when they try to do that.
Nearly stripped Murphy.
I wouldn't be surprised with the implementation of artificial intelligence. At some point, referees are going to have devices that pick up what people are saying to them in any language.
Service here for Detroit. Ball getting away from Zubac and gets away from Bizarra. On from the County Line Coalition.
Yeah, I think that Bizarra is a little bit lucky there. You just see him kicking at the back of the Orange County defender, like completely outside of the ball.
Lasky pursues. It's a fall. Lasky attacks space.
There we see some of the best of Lasky, just picking up such intelligent positions in space in between lines.
Flood sending Zubac above the bar. Flood making his Orange County debut tonight on loan from Phoenix Rising. That got announced yesterday, and combining with Zubac coming off the edge.
So a great delivery to the back post, and Zubac is arriving at the right time. Sometimes you have to give defenders credit. That's an absolutely match-winning block there from Villanueva. If he doesn't get that block, that's 1-0. Orange County find themselves in the lead. Villanueva does ever so well there to get a body on that.
Bagel corner kick. Ball driven to the backside. Header down, askew from Amang, and down to Steinwasser. You could see Amang just, it dug under his skin a little bit last week. Some of the fouls that he absorbed. Morten Carlson came to his defense, said, look, ultimately as a player, control your emotions. And certainly his frustration bubbled a bit. But he said referees have given him no benefit this year.
Yeah, I think Amang's actually come back with a new lease of life this season. He looks a little bit more dynamic. He looks fitter. He looks healthier. He looks more hungrier than previous seasons.
Amang put together some pretty good campaigns in Colorado Springs, but mainly San Diego. And you can see Amang showing his frustration again, and he may have just talked Stephen Carroll right into a card.
Yeah, as well as drawing the free kick and his frustration, I think Amang needs to handle his frustrations a little bit better in these moments. When you react like that, the defender's winning. They're inside your head. They're able to influence your decision making. He has to find a way to be the player he is. He knows he has that ability to suck in pressure from defenders, and he knows he's going to get fouled. So it's nothing new for him. He just has to find a way to manage it and continue going forward. He's achieved his objective here. Now the defender's on a yellow card. He has to tread very carefully now, Carroll, for the remainder of the game. Amang has the upper hand, but if he doesn't manage emotions well, opportunities are going to come, and he's not going to be in the mind frame to take advantage of them.
Carroll's 9th game of the year. He's got a red and now a couple of yellows to his credit. You'll see Christian Sorto take a number of the set pieces for Orange County. He's out with a minor strain, we're told, tonight. And so Jafal or Lasky set to take this. Free kick hit by Oloski in front, cleared. And Jafal stepped in. It belongs to Detroit.
A little bit deception there. The way that was lined up, it didn't look likely that Oloski was going to be the one to deliver it. It looked like it was more lined up for Jafal, but just after the whistle, Oloski takes a quick couple of steps and whips with his left foot. I think he actually caught his own teammates unexpecting that delivery.
Bryant steps back in, former OCFC player and Cal United striker. So much of his career played here in Orange County before becoming one of the early signings in Detroit's championship stint. Bryant from Portola Hills here in California. Shuttler, Lamb, given away cheaply. Physicality from Zuback and the look back too. See Paul Hardiman in the background. 4th year in Orange County, played over 350 games as a pro, including the '92 FA Cup final for Sunderland against Liverpool.
Tons of experience to share with the players. I'm sure they enjoy listening to some of his stories.
There have been a handful of guys. Sacramento's had some coaches in with serious Premiership experience, Orange County, over the years.
Yeah, these are lessons and experiences that you can't learn in any coaching course. And I think when you have coaches of that caliber and experience who have walked the walk, they've been in the shoes that many of these players aspire to get to. And then they also have the man management skills to be able to teach, to be educators, leader of men. I think that's the most valuable coaches that you can have, where they can empathize with where you're going or what you're trying to achieve because they've been in your shoes before, but they also have the skills to be able to manage people.
Spoken like someone with about 50 Conca caps.
It's a truth. People always question whether former players can become the best coaches, but I think, they spent 20 plus years learning the game from a grass level, and then they go and do their coach education. Of course, I think the most valuable skill you can have as a manager is the ability to manage people, and just because you played the game, it doesn't necessarily give you that. But if you have played the game and you have the empathy and the soft skills to manage people, I think that it's a recipe for the most success that you can have.
Carroll, Amumensa, feet of Villanueva. He was getting a little too confident on the ball. He's bailed out the foul.
Bailed out is the right word. I think the referee let him off lightly there. He's doing his skills towards his own goal and he was under a lot of pressure.
Former player, coach, okay with that? Had some grassroots knowledge. Well, both sides here have seen their position weakened by results around them earlier today in the championship. Orange County has dropped right to the playoff line. Maxi Rodriguez unable to maintain this at the touchline. When you're out on the West Coast, are you watching scores from before, or are you already locked in on your own affair?
I think you have to be locked in on your own affair. And as we spoke about briefly, we always knew that it was going to be a big void to fill once Milan Oloski moved across to Europe and left Orange County. And they started off the season fairly well. Got themselves organized, got themselves compact, to finding a way to win games. They were scoring goals irrespective of losing one of the league's top goal scorers, let alone their club's top goal scorer. But they kind of just dropped off a lot, not just a little, in the past few weeks. And just trying to see where they could potentially get themselves back with it.
Orange County down about 5 starters that you'd expect in the 11 tonight due to injury, and then Detroit still missing. Daniel Espoleto's seen some minutes, but really Elvis Amos, the guy brought in to score goals up front. That plus 5 changes from the team they played on Wednesday makes tonight a little bit of a crapshoot. Murphy over the ball, offers into the area. Maxi Rodriguez brings it down, lines this toward goal. Up is Shuttler. He yanks it down. Ball knocked down off the arm of Amumensa, and now both center backs are on yellow cards.
Yeah, if you're Orange County now, you're targeting these guys. You've got to get the ball to the feet of your strikers as often as possible. You've got to get Amang to pin one of them and just continue to feed him with the ball. There's going to be moments where they're going to draw free kicks, and whether it's going to be consistent infringement or it's going to be one badly timed tackle. Now both centre-backs, Mensah and Carroll, both sitting on yellow cards. You've got to put them under pressure now and challenge their decision-making.
And they've been able to manage. Carroll missed some time, the red card. When they've had to pull a center back off the field or without one of their 2 star center backs. But when Matt Lewis retired at the beginning of the season, that became a massive issue depth-wise. And now both on yellows inside 15 minutes on the road. Ball launched over the top. And Flood whips that through. Ryan Flood's giving a little more out of that outside back position than we've seen from anybody at Orange County thus far this year. It's only been 15 minutes, but this is very much the MO he established not only over in Ireland, but before that when he came on as a trialist at Phoenix and then really took hold of the job.
Yeah, and if you're Amang and you're Zubak, you're fuming. Despite the intent from Flood is good, but you're demanding better delivery. You've seen them pick up speed, sprinting 60 yards into the box, and the ball just doesn't come in an area where they have any chance of attacking it or getting on the end of it. You've got to demand better from him in those situations. The quality on the ball into box has to be better.
Off of Zubak.
Smart play from Villanueva. He's in a corner, faces his own goal, knows he's under pressure. Just flicks the ball up off of Zubak's knee and out for a goal kick.
It is a homecoming for Villanueva tonight. They actually moved him higher up the field because Ryan Dogman was playing so well last year at Orange County. They were able to take away some of those defensive responsibilities. Offside flag raised against Detroit. Ultimately, Villanueva pops up here in Detroit, gets the chance to come back home near Lancaster, where he grew up. For Orange County without their manager tonight because of that red card. Morgan Carlson didn't know where he was allowed to stand. He said he was going to ask Peter Nugent. A happy birthday to him, by the way. Head of the soccer operation here. Ball whipped through and cleared as high as Rodriguez and further for Jope. But Orange County is going to have to figure some things out on the fly, and without their manager, Jope. What an excellent ball ahead to Ben Morris. Ran out beyond him. Morris central. Toward the halfway line with a high hop. Carroll. Settled by Bryant.
A win tonight for Orange County would actually propel them up above San Antonio into 3rd place in the Western Conference. A win for Detroit City, on the other hand, would propel them up into 4th position above Tampa Bay Rowdy. So a win for Orange County would actually just take them 3 points away from the top of the table. They'll be on 19 points, and both Sacramento and New Mexico currently sit on 22. So it would actually put them into conversation to compete for regular season champions. Despite this dip in form that they're on right now, losing 4 of their last 5. They're still there and there amongst where they can get up there and compete with the best teams in the Western Conference. For Detroit, they're a little bit further away. They're on 18 points, and Louisville at the top of the table on 29, so they're 11 points off the top of the table. Even a win tonight, they'd still be 8 points away from Louisville.
Louisville and Charleston look like they might be pulling away from the entire Eastern Conference. Meanwhile, Indy, another win over Pittsburgh tonight.
And that's something I love about Danny Cruz as a coach, is that he prides himself on being #1 over the course of the season. I always have this discussion with him, and he wants to win the regular season. He doesn't want to be the team that just languishes in playoff positions and goes into the postseason. He challenges himself and his team to be the best every...
Murphy, header is in! Stephen Carroll celebrates Detroit's opener on the road! His first goal of the season, and the captain brings Detroit City in front, away to Orange County.
What a header here from Carroll. The delivery into the box is beautiful, but gets up and redirects it across the goalkeeper into the side netting. That's not an easy skill to do whatsoever. The power on the ball, redirecting the ball, the timing of the header. Gets up above Amang, guides it into the back of the net. That's a brilliant header. 1-0 Detroit City away from home in Orange County. Carroll gets himself on the score sheet in the 19th minute of the game.
Stephen Carroll grabs the opener tonight, the longest tenured captain in Detroit pro sports. Couple of goals last season, and the Irishman able to grab one off the set piece, and picturesque service from James Murphy as well. Scott pirouettes around. By the way, you mentioned the Western standings. First place, New Mexico, has a 0 goal difference, neither plus nor minus, and they're top of the table. Sacramento is unbeaten. They're not even in first place. Memphis went over to the West, not only in a playoff spot, they started the weekend in third, and then there's 3 over the line with a negative goal difference. It is one of the weirdest tables I've ever seen at the start of June.
Yep, things always get a little wild at the beginning, but towards the latter end of the season, it starts to pick up. But looking at a goal differential, and then you look across at the Eastern, and you have Louisville City, who are sitting on goal differential plus 24 in first place in the Eastern. And then you look at, as you mentioned, the Western Conference, and New Mexico sitting on goal differential of 0. For goal scoring, it's complete night and day between the two divisions right now.
And a complete diametric switch from what it was a few years ago, where it was the wild, wild West, and then the East was sort of those gritty, grinded out kind of games.
Yeah, I remember Landon Donovan openly speaking about how he believed that the Western Conference was far stronger than the East, given the creative players, the goal scoring abilities, just how the game evolves over time. It's like roundabouts and circles. It just has ebbs and flows. 1 minute the West is stronger, the East is stronger. I think at one point you're going to find a place where both are just as strong as each other. And of course, as fans or mutual observers of the game, you always have a natural attraction towards the more offensive league. So right now, the Eastern Conference being a little bit more offensive and more goals being scored is it more attractive to watch, but you also have to respect the defensive side of the games when teams are defending very well, keeping defenses tight, making it very difficult for teams to score goals.
That's typically the name of the game for this Detroit team. Both these sides are actually quite defensively stout this year, averaging a lot of goal allowed a game. Detroit's number looks far less satisfactory given the 5 they conceded on Wednesday night. Before that, they had only given up 7 on the season.
Yeah, the two teams right now who've conceded the least goals would be Sacramento, second place in the Western Conference, Charleston Battery, second place in the Eastern Conference. Charleston conceded 9 goals in 13 games, and Sacramento conceding 8 goals in 12 games. So both fairly similar. But it's no surprise that the teams conceding the least goals do find themselves somewhere near the top of the table.
Rodriguez, Bizarra leading himself, sent away by Marcus Knockham, the 27-year-old Norwegian center back. Slots into a different pairing tonight with Andrew Fox. Ashton Miles out for the red card that led to the insurance penalty, 90+5 against Loudoun last weekend. Picked up by Morris. Ball through, sliding back, left-footed shot denied from Williams. And Fox went down, draws the affect of the referee.
25 minutes gone in the game, and Orange County have yet to register, or they've registered, sorry, 1 shot on target in the opening 25 minutes. If you're looking at Amang and the service that he's had, he hasn't really been fed the ball or provided with any service that allows him to be dangerous or score any goals as yet. And I think that's where Orange County need to figure out, get some meaningful possession of the ball and actually create some goal scoring opportunities. Everything at the moment is a little bit hopeful. long balls, headers, flicks on, second balls, have to have a little bit more purpose to their possession and actually give Amang some quality service into the box and an opportunity to score goals.
There's Amang, 4 goals in 11 games, about every 150 minutes this year. We'll tell you the Cabanas are back for the 2024 season. Located on the Omega Deck, premium experience, the best way to invite out your group of up to 20 to enjoy a match here at Championship Stadium. Enjoy your own private bar, other exclusive amenities. Inquire today, orangecountySoccer.com/premium for more details.
I think one of the things that is always really interesting is when a head coach starts to question the courage and the intensity of their team. It's always a big question mark. Sometimes coaches protect their teams and they will never say these things publicly. But when a coach starts to mention to us that he wants to see a response in terms of courage and intensity, both in training and in games, it raises big question marks about the team. And this is the case right now with Orange County, where head coach is saying he wants to see a response in terms of courage, intensity, bravery, having high demands on the players that they place on themselves, both in training and in games. And that's maybe one of the most offensive things that players have, because it questions their integrity and their character as an individual. And I think what he's challenging them is he wants to see a response for them. He wants to see if players can come out and respond to the situation they're in. 4 losses in 5 games is challenging, and only the players can get out there and turn that around. And if he's questioning their intensity in training, then it's obviously their approach, their attitude, taking responsibility for things themselves, looking for leadership in the team, and obviously looking for them to dig themselves out of the rut that they currently find themselves in. But it's not that bad a rut, because as we spoke about, 1 win today, they're back up into 3rd position. Then it just speaks of the level or the accountability that the head coach is holding them to, that he's not comfortable with them just sitting in 4th and going on a losing run of streak. He wants them to obtain the highest position.
Orange County fans look on. The goal conceded off a free kick. Stephen Carroll, the headed opening goal back in the 19th. A response from the losing streak, a response from the goal conceded. The question now, Lamb. Scott, Jafal. I thought it was a really apt comparison, not just because they both run around with ponytails, but that Maxi Rodriguez, it looked less fluid with him off the field. Ball slid ahead, back heeled off by Villanueva. But that similar sort of impact Rodriguez has on Detroit that Kyle Scott has for Orange County.
Yeah, and I think, although it's one player, it completely changes your tactics and your approach. Mm-hmm. You know, for Scott, that's the player who they play through. That's the guy they try to find when they're in possession, who has the ability to unlock defenses. And when he's not there, now you've got to revamp your whole team tactics, because this is the go-to guy, essentially, that your team try to find. So I think teams often have to adapt fairly quickly when they lose their go-to guy or their top player, especially offensively, and try to find another way to find solutions to win the game.
Is there a nice move, but a square ball that got picked off. Here's the aforementioned Scott. He's played in 8 games this year, so he's missed a handful. Lamb. Rodriguez got a piece. Amu Mensah into the pocket. Job. Detroit's done a really good job playing side to side around this pressure.
Yeah, they've done a good job stretching the field. I still feel like the actions can be quicker. While they are stretching the field, they're not really pulling Orange County apart or creating holes in them, because they're moving the ball a little bit too slow and they're able to shift and stay compact and keep their shape. I feel like if they're able to play just a little bit quicker in possession with 1 and 2 touches, the weight of the pass, they'll open them up a little bit more when they have possession of the ball.
Frankly, I hope Job doesn't get he won't, a yellow card here. That ball, that touch from Molosky was so far out in front. He was never going to get there, so calling it a transition tactical card would have felt harsh, but certainly was a warning for Job. Fired out of a cannon off the set piece. Lamb arrives. Chips inside. Tidy turn from Zubac. Jafal. Ball hit from a long way out, asking questions of Steinwasser. Threw his hands up and pulled him back, knowing that was going to sail over from Andrew Fox. outside back playing central. A little bit of depth tonight.
Ambitious effort there from Fox. It's very rare that you see a centre-back advancing and having the confidence to strike from that distance, but Steinwasser looked like he had it covered fairly easily. It was straight down the middle, and had that found itself in the back of the net, I think he would have been surprised himself, but fantastic effort there from Fox. Showing centre-backs want to get in on the offensive actions too.
Huntington in England. Sam Edwards was a great goal scorer. 36 goals in 64 games. Moved to Texas to be with his wife after time at Grimsby Town, and then lapsed on at El Paso after trialing for Mark Lowry in their expansion season in 2019.
Well traveled, to say the least. And then he's able to bring all those experiences to his teammates, younger players who aspire to maybe play at some of those levels and teams that he's been at previously. It's invaluable, some of the experience and opportunities he's had.
Perhaps my favorite Andrew Fox experience. He was the first player to get a VAR red card in the FA Cup. Which is why I'm sure he came to this league. No VAR. Lamb. It's a decent idea. Zubac denied service by Amang and a corner to come. City side fiber corner kick for Orange County at the half-hour mark.
Great interception there from Amang. That's the second time he's had to come up big in these situations.
We need your energy. It's an OCSC corner.
Alaski. Scott. Flood. He'll find that ball in Phoenix. And you know something, truth of the matter, I love the fact that he gets a chance to play a little more. He was actually playing as a winger a little bit in Phoenix earlier this year. And this is not a sight that Detroit fans are going to be happy to see. Injured player down. It's just not a deep roster. It's not one of the biggest budgets in the league. That's pretty well known.
Yeah, there's two ways in terms of rosters that you can be successful. You have to keep your best players fit, or you have to have depth, so that when you do get moments when your best players are injured, or sometimes your top players are going to be on international break, you're still going to need players to come in and fill that void so you can continue to keep the momentum. If you don't have that depth in your roster, you have top players, they're either injured or international break, and now you're left with that void. There's always going to be a dip in form, dip in results, and it's going to be very difficult to get out to. So teams really have to decide at the beginning of the season how successful they want to be, whether they want to go with depth or if they're going to have quality rosters. And if you have quality, you're going to lose those players for large parts of the season, and you're going to have to find ways to adapt and stay active. Obviously, top teams are going to play the most games. So if you're a top team, you advance in the Open Cup, you advance in your league competitions, you're advancing every week with the league. You understand that as a top team, you're going to have those challenges over the course of the season, and you have to make sure that your roster, your organization has the depth to be able to be successful in those moments. Otherwise, it's very limited in what you can achieve.
Job walks off alongside Maureen Lilla, the athletic trainer for Detroit. If there's an area of the field where they can afford to make a change, they can manage without Job for a few minutes, but they would like to see him out much longer than that. He covers so much ground, stems off so much attacking transition. Steinwasser signed a new 2-year fully guaranteed extension going into this year. 31 years old. Has been well noted by now. Also a certified public accountant on the side, so he can count his money too. Ball forward for Zubac. Zubac! Smart by Carroll. He pulled his foot away, or else he was going to make that miles more difficult for Steinwasser.
All started from a good one-touch pass forward from Miloski to find Zubac. Zubac did well to get the ball under control, works it onto his left foot, but doesn't quite connect with a strike as cleanly as we would have liked, and it was fairly straightforward for Steinwasser to collect that ball.
Flood with a heavy step, but right to Maxi Rodriguez. Inside, Rodriguez making the run. Slid out toward Dunbar. And Dunbar got tugged down by Ben Morris. Couple ACLs for Morris. I mean, he was in a really enviable spot at Ipswich. Ended up in the Swedish 3rd division, now lands here in Detroit. A guy who's already hit the catapult around 21 miles an hour, which is excellent speed. I'm assuming it's catapult. They are the leader after all.
Players, they like to know their stats. The game is becoming more stat-orientated, so
not just goals, assists,
goals,
but
assists.
the whole thing, right?
They want to know how much distance they covered, their top speed. They want to know their work rate, distance covered per minute. I think it helps a lot in players being able to hold themselves accountable to a work standard on a consistent basis. Whilst assists and goals are always very important.
That did get out. It was much contemplated. It is out for a throw.
I think having the ability to measure and be consistent with your work ethics over the course of the weekend in games is also a valuable attribute or a valuable skill to have as a player.
And also, right, Detroit, short roster. If you're Orange County, you've dealt with a ton of injuries. Some of them are soft tissue, and some of those happen. Some of them are, how are you utilizing players, and how are you building in and out of games and through the week. And a slip there as Reese Williams goes down.
And you're also able to look at trends. If you know that whenever you cover X amount of distance, you start to feel tight hamstrings, then you're able to manage yourself in a better way. And you're looking at the longevity of the players, you know, being able to play for 10, 15 years, the best ability is availability. So if this technology and being able to have this information is able to keep players fresh and available, then it can only be an added bonus for organizations and for the individual players themselves. I think the part where it gets a little bit more complicated is where it's used against the players to give them a hard time, and then they maybe resent wearing it a little bit.
Job returned and sends this down into no man's land. I know a handful of coaches, they're a little more on the less technologically agile side of 50, I guess would be the way to put it.
Yeah, I think
who kind of go, oh, they were in the red, therefore, and I'm like, okay, understood. That's where we're at.
There's always that balance between science and intuition. You know, sometimes players are known for always pushing their bodies to the edge. So sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to advance. That's how growth is made. You have to get your body to thresholds that they're very uncomfortable. Sometimes the device is going to be red and you're actually...
laser that is sending the ball kids squeamishly away. Bryant letting fly.
Not a bad strike there from distance. Opening half hasn't really been a frantic tempo from both teams. It's kind of been both teams kind of sparring, feeling each other out.
Good from Becerra. Try and square that off for Williams. And it is Flood now. A bit of a goal scorer at Finn Harps in Ireland. Ball knotted down. Skittered away from Molosky. Down by Scott. Hung it in behind. Lamb races forward, kept it alive. Scott, head swiveling, Jafal. This is a Detroit team that knocked out Houston, the reigning Open Cup champion, before ultimately capitulating to Indy 11 on the road, around to 16. Ball flung ahead again, and a leaning header from Zuback. Never really bothered Steinwasser.
Indy 11 continued their hot streak of form. 2-1 victory today. 10 games now in all competitions unbeaten.
Wild. The Indy 11 we saw before, really, there's the before getting throttled by Louisville on April 6th and after.
Yeah, and I think they found a way to concede less goals, which has given them a foundation to be successful. But they've also found a way to win games even when they're not performing at their best. And we know that's a trait of top teams, is finding a way to win even when you're not having your best day. Over the course of 9 months, you're not always going to play great every week. You're going to have ups and downs. But if your players have a winning mentality and they still find a way to get across the finish line on their worst days, then there's only things are going to get better on their better days.
Long for Amang, deflection! Amang just would not give in, and he's pulled Orange County level 1-1. Paul Hardiman's looking up, likely to the suspended coach. Steinwasser can't believe it. It dribbles over top of him. Orange County 1, Detroit 1.
You have to give Amang credit here. Uses his body so well, just bullies the defender. Amang Mensah there will be probably a little disappointed how he gets bodied. Probably have to spend a little more time in the gym sessions, but the deflection gives Steinwasser no chance there. It bounces over his hand into the back of the net. Amang, probably with the first semi-decent service that he's got, managed to find himself on the score sheet, levels things up. Orange County 1, Detroit City 1.
Thomas Amang, such an incredible athlete. We were talking with Morgan Carlson. He said all the years of football, he's never seen it before. He goes leaping, ends up toppling over someone, and he got so much air, he ended up clipping his heels against the top of the crossbar and then falling into the goal. That was really laid on against Loudoun. So we're talking, what, 85 minutes into a performance, and he's getting that kind of leap. And here he is showing off that strength against Amang Mensah, who is something not much short of a mountain.
Yeah, bullied Amang Mensah there.
You say he's kind of like a jet engine, where it's like you get him firing and then he comes back down to earth and he needs a second. Amang he's these super aggressive spurts of energy.
Yeah, and that's where Orange County can be successful in this game. If they're able to possess the ball with the defenders and get Detroit to bring their line higher up, kind of lull them into a false sense of security and then play balls in behind for Amang, just like they did just then, you can see that's their route to success in this game. But they have to probably possess the ball a little bit deeper to bring Detroit closer to the halfway line to expose those spaces behind.
Detroit settle in again, to your point. Lamb.
You can see Detroit low block. They have all 11 players back behind the ball in the defensive third, so there's not much space to penetrate the passes. It's very tight and compact.
Williams gets brought down, and it's actually going to go against Detroit. And Williams is equally shocked in real time.
What's the call there?
Yeah, the last thing you want, we've seen it, Oloski's delivery is very, very dangerous. You don't want to be giving away cheap free kicks in and around the 18-yard box, especially so close to halftime.
At first glance, it looked like that was a bit hard done for Detroit.
You can already see it. 3 or 4 bodies in around the edge of the box for Orange County, unmarked. Opportunity here for late runners in the box.
Play this square to Scott and let him have a go. Totally unmarked. Ball lasered to the back stick. Ultimately, never into the mixer at all.
Yeah, the choice of delivery. You've got a couple players on the edge of the box. Put it into a dangerous area where you give them a chance to attack it. Zubak's always backpedaling there. The ball's far over his head. He would have done well to be able to redirect that back into the center, but I think the ball made it a little bit too difficult for him.
Steinwasser, Bryant. Approaching halftime. 10-ticket flex packs are the best way to attend multiple matches. Use all 10 tickets on your friends and family out to a match here at the Champ. Head to orangecountysoccer.com/flex-packs for more information.
I don't think either side will go into halftime feeling like they played their best soccer in this first half, but both teams have found a way to get themselves onto the score sheet.
There's one direct moment from Orange County. It was the free kick from Murphy unlocking Carroll for the header for Detroit. If you're Detroit, you've sort of settled into that low block defensively. You pleased with sort of the mode of attack that you've chosen in this game, or do you want to see them be a little more aggressive stepping out?
I think Orange County just got to be a little bit smarter in how they play here against Detroit. They want to pull them out. They want to get them closer to the halfway line. So in order to do that, they've got to possess the ball a little bit deeper to give Detroit that false sense of security. And then exactly as they did, spring balls over the top and get Amang in behind where he can bully them. Carroll, Amang Mensah, they're both sitting on yellow cards. All they have to do is time one tackle wrong, pull his jersey, anything in behind where he has the advantage and they foul him is going to be a second yellow card. So you can't, that's where you want the leadership. Oof.
Morris brought it down from Becerra and sends this slowly towards Shuttler.
First touch there from Morris was good, but didn't quite get the strike off as clean as he would have liked. 4 minutes additional time.
That stoppage time brought to you by Zolfagari Law Firm. And, you know, you think back, of course, to Amang sort of bullying his way into the box. If you're Amang Mensah, that's absolutely in your mind, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you're Amang, you know, he's a lone striker. He's got to try and keep himself as much as possible, as central as he can, so he can get goal-scoring opportunities. When he starts getting dragged into wide areas, he's not going to score goals from those areas. He needs to try and stay as central as he can in between the goal, be patient, and rely on his teammates to give him good deliveries or good service.
Murphy. Amang Mensah. Becerra on loan from Chicago. Zubak. Scott. Flood. Racing down the line. Service up towards Zubak. Header came off Villanueva, and Zubak wasn't quite able to handle it. Came off of his shins.
Again, Aloski out there in the attacking phase, providing that quality delivery into the box. Dangerous ball. Defenders didn't deal with it well. Zubak just unable to react and organize his feet to get his shot off. But most of the attacking threat for Orange County has come when they've been able to find Aloski in little pockets or in little holes where he can create. He has that quality in possession.
Midway point of stoppage time now. Detroit grabbed the lead back in the 19th. Amang in the 40th. Equalized for Orange County tonight.
This is where Detroit are doing a respectable job of trying to switch the point of attack. But as you can see, it's so slow that Orange County are not that threatened by it. They're able to shift, stay tight, stay compact.
Williams buzzed off the ball. That's a goal kick. Orange County has already attempted more shots in this game than they average for an entire game over the course of the year. Amang grabs his 5th of the season. Carroll is first since July the 30th last year against Oakland. For what it's worth, Orange County has not conceded the opening goal and come back to win yet this year. A couple of draws, 3 losses, and they've suffered the opening goal. Detroit 3-1-1 when they grabbed the opener.
Flood just struggling for quality in 2 or 3 times now, whether it's the pass out wide, whether it's the shot from distance, whether it's the cross into the box. 2 or 3 times now he's had the ball in good positions with time and space. He's not quite had the quality in that final delivery.
Scott. Rodriguez felt he'd been stymied by Scott first, but the whistle goes against Detroit. One last set piece before the break, it appears.
Losky lays down this ball. Last opportunity to put the ball into the box before half time.
Alosky lines this dangerously into the area with a header down out in front. A whistle's gone. That's a foul against Orange County. With Dunbar on the ground, and that should get us to halftime.
Dangerous delivery again from Alosky. Just drives it to the back post and just leaves it there hanging for his teammates to attack. Referee deemed there was a little bit of pushing and shoving. Goes for the free kicks, and I think that will be it for halftime.
Bill Bensala does whistle for halftime. 1-1, I agree with you. It doesn't feel like either team played their best, but they each have a goal.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they come out in the second half. Of course, Orange County being the home team, the onus is on them to get out, play attractive, attacking soccer in front of their fans. Amang not happy going in here at halftime.
And it is 1-1 here at the Champ, and Amang having some additional words as this one concludes. 45 minutes down, 45 to play. Tonight's halftime presented by IPA Physio, the official physical therapist of OCSC. Detroit City grabbed the opener, but the response from Amang, who bodies off Amu Mensah and takes advantage of the deflection. 1-1 at the break in Southern California.
I'm Jay, and as founder of Omega, I understand that as a business owner, you've got a lot in your mind. Let the tax credit ninjas at Omega get you the money. It's rightfully yours. It's not too late to score big on tax credits, but you gotta act fast.
Welcome back to Championship Soccer Stadium. Tonight's halftime is presented by IPA Physio, the official physical therapists of OCSC. 2021 USL Championship winners hosting Detroit City on this Saturday night. Mike and Chris, but we get caught up on what the standings look like here in the championship as we turn the page into June. We start out west. Talk a little bit about it at halftime, right? These are live as if this result had already gone final. I mean, contemplate this, right? New Mexico is a quarterfinalist in the Open Cup, top of the West, and yet they're neither above nor below the Mendoza line in terms of goal difference. Sacramento doesn't have a loss yet, and they're not in first.
Yeah, you're looking at Orange County, we briefly spoke about. If they're able to pick up 3 points tonight, they jump up above San Antonio into third place. But we also spoke about the goal differential. Is this the Italian league? Everybody's very defensive, organized, disciplined, doesn't give up goal scoring opportunities? Or is the attacking in the Western Conference just lacking a bit this year?
Meanwhile, El Paso, Wilmer Cabrera helping that side to a win over Charleston last weekend. It's now just 8 points off of 8th place, and suddenly it's getting late early, especially for Tulsa and El Paso. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Conference, things look a lot different because those top 2, you could argue the top 3, seem to be pulling away at this juncture. Now, Tampa Bay just lost Forrest Lasso to a torn ACL. That's a devastating defensive injury for the Rowdies. But it looks like with Louisville's win today, first time they've been in first place all year, they could very well run the table the way they're looking right now. Plus 24 is the best goal difference through 12 games in the history of the league.
Yeah, you can see plus 24. They've won the most games in the division right now. So they're trending in the right direction. A very convincing 5-goal victory midweek. But you can see Detroit, see if they win today, they jump above Tampa Bay Rowdies, they'll go into 4th position. But you can see the goal differential from East Conference to West Conference completely different. 24 and 18 at the top in comparison to 0 when you look at the Western Conference. Is the defending, you could argue, is the defending poor in the Eastern Conference, or are the attackers just that good?
Yeah, well, right now it looks like the East has plenty of goal scoring to go around. Meanwhile, Hartford and Miami making that goal difference number look a little bit ugly. It's 1-1 at halftime between these two sides. Shall we say the goal difference is even? IPA Physio presents the halftime. Orange County and Detroit level at the break.
So asking some questions, and there's the equalizer. It's Rivas.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power, trusted for over 100 years. Our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL. You can see it in my eyes. We want the best. Got me looking to the sky. Got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Tonight's halftime is presented by IPA Physio, the official physical therapists of OCSC. There's a mini game out on the field. There's a lot of goals in that. Meanwhile, let's tell you that the USL is on CBS, and they've added another game to the network TV slate. Oakland will see Sacramento on July the 21st. That's a 4 Eastern kickoff, 1 Pacific. out in the town. Meanwhile, Detroit City and Rhode Island FC step into the spotlight on August the 3rd. That's a 4 Eastern time kick. Mentioned the first half, the 72 matches scheduled across all the USL leagues. Just wait till Super League takes the field in August. That 72 might get left in the dust. And then how about Timothy Weah stepping into the ownership game?
Hey, it's nice to see U.S. national team players playing at the highest level in Europe, giving back and get involved in the ownership and leadership of how the game is expanding in the US. I think it can only be a plus. The experience he brings, the passion he brings, the knowledge that he brings, ownership stake in an expansion group is very exciting.
Meanwhile, the Open Cup is down to its final 8. These games will be on Apple TV Plus and MLS Season Pass. 3 championship sides remain. Only 1 gets the benefit of a home game in the quarterfinal round. That's Sacramento. Then Indy will go away to Kennesaw, not Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. New Mexico already chartered a plane for 100 fans to go with them to LAFC at the bank.
I think if my money was on any USL Championship team, I would have to say it's a flick a coin between Sacramento and New Mexico right now. I like how New Mexico are looking right now. Sacramento always very strong. I think we see a USL Championship team in the next round.
When I saw Denny Bawanga take the field in Las Vegas, I'm like, all right, LAFC is into this.
Yep.
The final will be September the 25th. Who knows? Maybe we'll see a second championship team in there in 3 years. Meanwhile, the USL Team of the Week sees Ryan Martin from Loudoun lauded as the coach of the week after the 2-0 win away to Orange County. Meanwhile, Amando Moreno, a brace for El Paso, finally a win against Charleston, of all teams, as we hit week 13 now of the championship season. The pros are coming back out. Quite a spirited game here at halftime. IPA Physio has presented your halftime coverage. Orange County won, Detroit won. The second half coming up next. Tonight's match is presented by IPA Physio, the official physical therapy partner of Orange County Soccer Club. And once again, the Noah Benardou Foundation wants to remind fans to never drive drunk and get home safely. Let's take a look at the halftime highlights between Orange County and Detroit. We're going to start in the 19th minute with the opening goal. Stephen Carroll from James Murphy.
Great header here from Carroll. Timing, power, redirects it. Brilliant delivery from Murphy also, but you have to give Carroll credit here for how he converts this guides it into the back of the net. And his little fun celebration, ball under the belly. I'm guessing there's a baby somewhere around there.
Good celebration from Carroll, his first of the season, and off and running with a 1-0 lead for DCFC. Skip ahead to the 40th, and OCSC grabbed the advantage through Thomas Amang bodying off Amu Mensah, getting the deflection off his heel.
Yeah, you just see Amang here gets a grip of Amu Mensah, tells him, get out my way, bodies him. Deflection, takes it past Time Washer into the back of the net, equalizing goal.
Amang credited with the goal. It's his 5th of the year, leads the club, and 1-1 at halftime. Here's a look at the halftime stats. It feels like, despite having 6 shots on target and 13 shots overall, this has been a really quiet game.
Yeah, there's not been, despite possession, it's not been that meaningful. It's not been that speed of play hasn't been great. It's not been that forward thinking. A lot of sideways passes, a lot of backwards passing. Expect to see a little bit more purpose in the second half from both teams.
And so Becerra stands over the ball, ready to send us into the second half here tonight. For Orange County, it's a light bench, but one that does welcome back Seth Kasipley, who had been dealing with an injury. Christian Sorto out with a strain, so that's a knock to the attacking prowess off the bench, but Bryce Jameson might be the most enticing attacking option for either side this evening. Well, Detroit could turn to Ali Coote or Connor Rutz off the bench, perhaps a Yazid Matthews as we get later into the game. 1-1 at halftime. On to the second half we go, and the third kick of this half is the most ambitious of the game so far outside of maybe Fox's effort from Becerra.
I like the intent. They don't quite get the execution quite would have been like, but 20 seconds into the second half, ball flicks up, tries to volley it from 30 yards. Doesn't hit the target, but I like the intent from Becerra in that moment.
Had a huge run over 3 years, including the COVID-shortened year at Indiana. Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, scored 28 times for the Hoosiers in, let's call it 2.5 years in reality. Jope, who dealt with an injury in the first half but remains in the second. Bryant. Notably, I understand they're not paying Thomas Amang to pass. Only 4 passes in that first half. Very limited touches for the Orange County striker in the first 45 as well.
Yeah, as we spoke about, he was a little bit starved of service. Orange County weren't really able to have any meaningful possession of the ball where they were able to find him in dangerous areas where they could connect with him. But on the one occasion when they did, he was able to convert, put the ball into the back of the net. So interested to see if they find ways to get Amang more involved in the build-up play.
That's a good movement. Well done.
You know, Ryan Flood got here a couple days ago and just pulled that little step back at his own end line. There's a certain confidence you either have or you don't. And I guess Flood certainly has it.
Flooded with confidence.
Yeah. Well, I remember talking to Rick Shantz when he was leading Phoenix Rising when they initially brought Flood in, and he goes, he tried out for us 3 different times. And by the time he finally got on the team, he gets a few games in, and confidence is one way to put it, aggression up and down the wing, and goes, I can't believe we didn't sign this kid before.
Resilient.
That's a good word, too.
Resilient. It's often the most resilient players are often the ones that advance the furthest. And the fact that he tried out 3 times and still continued. Sometimes many players give up after first or second and go looking elsewhere. The fact that he was persistent and eventually ended up kicking down the door and opening his own opportunities. You have to give him credit for that.
Well, it helps when you score in the Open Cup against Phoenix with Sporting Arizona, knocking them out of the tournament with a cup set. Suddenly the guy who kept trying out for you needs to be there. Because if you can beat them, you can also join them.
Yep.
Bryant chips that across, and Shuttler high points it and launches downfield. Amu Mensah got pushed by Amang. was offside anyways, and Amu Mensah certainly worse for the wear. That was a tough fall.
It's interesting because it doesn't look like Orange County have intentionally tried to target Carroll and Amu Mensah in trying to get them their second yellow cards and trying to feed Amang the ball as often as possible, trying to get Zubac up there maybe a little bit closer to the two of them.
Carroll got carded in the 8th, and Amu Mensah got a card for obstructing a goalkeeper's distribution in the 14th. Your point, really haven't had to deal with all that much trouble since.
Because then I have to claim it. Like,
Ping diagonal, Villanueva steps back.
Seen this probably 2 or 3 times now in the past couple of minutes from Orange County with it. Take a couple of touches and it's a hopeful pass forward. It doesn't have any quality on it. It's not really in the direction of anybody. It's just kind of hopefully hit forward rather than being a little bit more patient up in their build-up, finding the midfielders, trying to get Scott on the ball, trying to get Iloski on the ball. Just pumping it forward into areas that we spoke about being starved of service, Among being starved of service, and already providing any great service to him.
Williams, full speed. Williams tried to cut that back. He was running out of gas, and the angle to cut inside on Fox never appeared.
Yeah, and the pass, even if the intent on the pass, it was never getting anywhere. He would have been better off trying to go 1v1 and try to create the opportunity to score himself. I think he ran out of gas and tried to pass the buck a little bit. Ends up winning a corner for his team.
That was what, 10 seconds after a throw in the Cata corner flag. By the way, first night of Pride Month, and so the corner flags to that effect. You'll see a number of captains' armbands around the league welcoming Pride Month in throughout the month of June.
You can see Orange County set up here with a little bit of zonal and a little bit of man-to-man, but you can see that area, once you miss the first defender, that area in between the two defenders centrally, wide open space for Detroit City to attack here.
Amang's got to be giving up about 5 inches there, and yet still a real threat to try and defend. Set piece for Murphy. Front post, Amu Mensah flicks on toward Becerra. Has to deal with Scott.
Very cagey contest so far. No one team's really dominated possession. Hasn't been that many goal scoring chances. It's been very much a game that's been kind of played in the middle of the park more so than in either of the 18-yard boxes.
Morris seeking Rodriguez. That played away. Well, there are some teams that you can tell just don't really want to get in a rock fight. I don't think these are those teams.
Yeah, exactly that. It feels like a game of where I don't want to lose more so than I'm going to have the onus on me to go and win it. Very safe, I would say. A lot of safe decisions. You need maybe 1 or 2 players who are a little bit more creative and take a few more risks in possession of the ball.
Held up well by Becerra, but Morris a bit late coming in to combine. Iloski. Zubac. Blazing speed, sending early. Flip toward Villanueva. Amu Mensah put in a bad position. Steinwasser called him off.
Zubak turning on the jets on the right-hand side there, just blasting past players.
You don't really see that much from him.
Yeah, that was the first time we've maybe seen it in this game where he's actually had the ball at his feet and he's willing to drive and take players on, which is something that the game needs. There's a lot of passing, but you need different ways to unlock the defense. And sometimes having a player who can attract pressure, attract 2 or 3 defenders and create space for their teammates is what's required.
Williams saw Jope making the run out of midfield.
That's been, if you even look at the Zubak has a moment, drives forward, and in the final pass, complete deflation. Similar instance here, you see it, Diop making the run forward. Again, the quality in the final pass doesn't reward the run.
And then Scott and Jope give up in unison, and all of a sudden it's one of those you've given a little more. Flood. That's going to bounce all the way through and ultimately wasted. No way Zubak thought that was going to get over 2 defenders and onto his foot.
Yeah, it wasn't the best ball, but sometimes you create your own luck by being in the right place at the right time. He's probably a little bit surprised when the ball ends up bouncing to him. Reacts well to get it under control, but just doesn't hit it cleanly at all. Side swipes it, doesn't get over the ball, sails wide and high. But in reflection, I think that's an opportunity that he'd want back there. He would probably at least want to test the goalkeeper.
You see the rabbit on the film?
Apparently the referee stopped play because there was... Did you just hear a rabbit on the field?
Maybe they mistook Zubak's speed.
Well, we've had a pretty good run with some vermin involved in soccer matches in America recently.
Referee not impressed.
Wait a minute.
With somebody there. Oh,
there. Oh! Look at Zubak run.
26.
Finally, the championship has a rabbit on the field.
Breaking lines.
Contemplative. Making a run in behind. Now Skitters back upfield to join the Orange County attack. The ball kid is currently chasing. The rabbit has left the field of play to the applause of the assembled.
The rabbit is safe.
For now. And what drives me nuts is that rabbit didn't even attempt to force the second yellow from Amu Mensah nor Carroll.
No animals were injured in the filming of this game.
Darting through Dunbar. Dunbar hung that up, attempt to swipe it back toward Amang. Miloski knocks it down toward the end line. Dunbar dummies through. Scott! Kyle Scott puts Orange County out in front.
And if you look back to where this goal starts from, it starts from Miloski having the composure and the vision to play forward. Scott, great dummy here. And Scott just has the composure. He doesn't thrush it, he doesn't smash it as hard as he can. Just arrives at the right time, stern side foot, passes it into the bottom corner. Gives Shuttler no chance. Sorry, gives Steinwasher no chance. Picking the ball out of the back of his net. 2-1 lead for Orange County. But it's something that we don't see enough, where players find themselves in the right moment at the right time and just have the composure to not to smash it, just to pass the ball into the back of the net. And that's exactly what Scott does in that moment. He caresses the ball with accuracy at the right pace that doesn't give Steinwasher the opportunity to save it and gives his team the 2-1 lead.
His 50th appearance for Orange County in USL competition and his first goal for OCSC. It's the first goal he scored since he played with Telstar on loan in the Netherlands back in 2018. And in the nick of time. Sub coming, Seth Kasipli. Good for about half an hour tonight, and that's precisely what he'll give. Kasipli's 7th appearance of the year, coming off injury, replaces Jafal in midfield.
The goal comes again, though, from Eloski having the vision, the composure to control the ball and play forward. We've seen a lot of lateral passes in this game, sideways and backwards. Just that one player who's able to receive the ball with good posture, good orientation, and be able to see the forward pass. And then, of course, Scott supporting the attack, arriving at the right time, and again, having the composure to finish.
I mean, Kyle Scott was right on the cusp of being in that Chelsea squad at a time when Roman Abramovich was still pouring money into it, I guess would be a good way to put it.
So many players, so much talent. Really difficult for young players to break in at that level.
2017, he was making the bench for Chelsea in the Premiership. Squads that had Luis and Azpilicueta and Eden Hazard and Willian and, I mean, Fabregas, just a nuts amount of talent around him. And there he was on the bench, but never did make his Premier League debut. Ended up at Telstar in the Netherlands for a while, propped up at FC Cincinnati, although they've turned around and brought in a different former Chelsea player, Matt Miazga, and had much more success. Handful of games there, arrives in 2022 here at Orange County. Scott's been vital. Good work by Amang, and Carroll did well to get in position and not commit a foul.
It's great work from Amang there, just keeps his team in possession. Holds up the ball well, fights for it, battles for it, and keeps his team in possession. Detroit now trailing this game after taking the lead. Orange County now starting to build a little bit of momentum and dictating the tempo of play.
Flood isolates back through Scott. The go-ahead goal comes in the 57th minute. The goal presented by Hogue.
The onus is very much now on Detroit City to chase the game, which is going to leave them open to be exploited.
Two Detroit changes wait to come in, Matthews and Coote. Scott overcooked it, allows the two changes to enter for Detroit City. So a double sub here. Subs are brought to you by MedEquip. It's it for Maxi Rodriguez, coming off injury, able to give an hour tonight. And Victor Becerra checks off as well. Only his second start of the season. First two subs, first window, of course, for Detroit.
And, of course, two offensive changes there for Detroit. So a little bit of fresh legs and energy in the attack. See if they can get the equalizing goal.
Amang, Scott, and Morris took it for Detroit.
Matthews looks like he's the one who's going to be operating as the lone 9.
Matthews without a goal this year, only one last year, at 3 in 2022 when a visa issue kept him out most of the season. Williams. Ball through toward Matthews. Good sliding intervention.
Good intent there, just looking for Matthews, immediately making runs in behind.
to touch. Flood again. Was high up the field with Finn Harps in Ireland. It's termed a compassionate release. Coming from Ireland back to his hometown in Phoenix. Now on loan to Orange County. Short flight away from Arizona. But 11 goals this past season in the Irish First Division. Ball hammered in behind, and Matthews will watch as Knockham takes control. Williams. He goes down. That's a penalty. A penalty for Detroit, and a chance to pull on level terms at 2-2. That is the second penalty conceded in as many games, and Fox shown yellow.
We'll wait to see it again here. That's Fox getting himself into the book here, but does he sell it a little bit? There is a little grab. Is it strong enough for him to go down though?
Get the number 6.
Williams does well to draw the foul. It's a moment now where Detroit can get themselves back into this game.
Shuttler in his career has faced 7 penalties, saved 1. But that was 2022 with Orange County against Loudoun, which is to say a long time ago. Job went and grabbed the ball immediately for Detroit. Sometimes a claim of a penalty is all you really need. A player with confidence, ready to seize the moment. Less than half an hour to play. Detroit led this game. They've ceded 2. A chance to equalize now through Abdoulaye Diop. Shuttler's ready, and Diop delivers beyond the outstretched Colin Shuttler, who came oh so close. But Detroit grabs their second and back in position to take points on the road.
Shuttler did guess the right way, but the pace and accuracy on the strike was too much for him to deal with. Into the side netting, equalizing goal for Diop. 2-2.
That is the first penalty that Diop has attempted since October of 21. Only the second of his career. Header into the general path of Steinwasser. He's got it, and it's 2-2 here in Irvine. Not much of a goal scorer. That was with Atlanta too. Only a couple goals last year. That's his second goal this season.
The referee was fairly confident about the decision. He didn't hesitate at all to point to the spot. On the replay, you do question how much contact was there and if it was enough for Williams to go down in the way he did, but whenever you're defending inside the box, you have to be extremely careful.
And notably, Fox, primarily an outside back. He's playing at center back because of the suspension of Ashton Miles tonight, due to the penalty he conceded in stoppage time against Loudoun last Saturday night. Dunbar. Morris able to shrug off the challenge by Dunbar. Advantage played. And racing ahead. Through for Matthews. Matthews cuts back across. Nobody's home.
I can't believe Matthews cuts that ball across and he doesn't try to score it himself. There was no one there for the cutback. He was through and goal. Have to wait to see it again, whether the angle got too tight and he didn't feel like he'd be able to get a good strike off from that angle, but there was no one in that area.
Maybe thought his momentum had taken him too far wide.
Even if he strikes it across goal and the goalkeeper's able to get a hand off it, the best he's probably going to do is parry that out, and it's going to be right there for somebody to tap in. Huge wasted attempt there.
Matthews again, Morris. Touch leading, ball blasted wide. The former Orange County player, Villanueva, could have thrown a real dagger in the 70th.
Looked like he beat the keeper there. If that's on target, I think it's in the back of the net. Shuttler could see he was worried the way he dived across the goal, but happy to see it go wide of the upright.
Well, the first half was a little sleepy. We got what we came for in the second.
Definitely livened up a little in the second.
Yeah. Steinwasser. Amang fires in.
You like the urgency from Orange County. They're now pushing the tempo themselves. Wanting to get the ball back into play quickly. See ball goes out of play. They want to get the ball quickly, get it back into play, try to get that go-ahead goal again.
Sipley, Fox puts his hand up. Instead, all the way reverted to knock him. And that was sort of what you were hoping for if you're Orange County in the first half, right? You're able to get the ball and have it be contested at the halfway line.
Yep, so you can try to get Amang.
Scott got run over by Williams. It's quite the quick restart, too. Orlowski working off of Flood. Flood angling across.
Good delivery there from Flood. Showing that he has the ability, if you leave him in time and space in those wide areas, to deliver quality balls into the box.
11 for 7.
It's going to be a whistle against Amang. Dunbar's time is short. Injured player down for Detroit. And Amu Mensah struggles back to his feet. Adjustment coming for Orange County. This is arguably the trickiest player on the roster. Bryce Jameson, who featured in Indonesia at the Under-17 World Cup with the U.S. That's it for Dunbar. I have a feeling Carroll and Amu Mensah likely a bit aggrieved. They've been playing on yellows for an hour, and yet some of the contact that they felt in return probably could have been deemed yellow card worthy from time to time.
Yeah, I think Amang plays a little bit aggressive in his style of play, but the onus is always given a little bit stronger in defenders than it is in attackers in those situations. He does use his body very well. But obviously, Amu Mensah and Carroll will try and just have a little word in the referee's ear and see if they can influence his decision-making, and probably try to see if he can repay the favor and put Amang into his book also. Sportsmanship. Or gamesmanship, so to speak.
Villanueva steps off the field, gives some applause to the Orange County fans. Likely have fond memories. Came to Orange County in 2022, coming off the title win for the club. A couple of years, 51 games in the league. Set to be replaced by Matt Sheldon. who has more YouTube subscribers than you do. I don't care who's watching this game, it's accurate. Over 500,000 for his Becoming Elite channel. Breaks down touch by touch, goes through life of a footballer.
Nice.
Sub brought to you by MetaQuip. Villanueva concludes his return to Orange County, replaced by Sheldon. Sheldon played at UC Davis, Washington native. Actually ended up in New Zealand playing amateur ball down under after some injuries. And did spend some time in Orange County before a rather journeyman-like run that's ultimately seen Sheldon in the last half-decade touch St. Louis, Tulsa, Charleston, Hartford, and now Detroit.
Want to hear a bad joke?
Bring it.
Sounds like he's had more clubs than Tiger Woods.
I've only heard that from two people. They're both British. You and Leanne Sanderson must be going to the same clubs.
Some jokes never die.
Bryant sends it away from Jameson. Still a window remaining for Detroit. They can bring on two more should they choose. All the while, Flood with a couple idea folks beside him. Flood sends long. It's a leaping header. This is a corner. And the Detroit players are livid. And Carroll needs to be a bit careful in the way he gestures at the referee simply on the yellow that he's already on.
Yeah, but as we're aware, referees are clamping down on the gesturing and talking back to them, running towards them. And don't be surprised if you see more referees giving out yellow cards due to that type of behavior from players.
City side fiber corner. Dealt with by Detroit for the moment. Taken out of the air. But Williams unable to latch on as it rebounded out to Scott. Olaski. Kasipli. Nodded centrally. It'll bounce back to Job, who had the equalizing penalty back in the 67th.
Some dangerous deliveries from this left-hand side of the field, whether it's been Flood or now Kasipli, who's got himself into the game. Orange County getting some success on this side of the field.
Detroit started a perfect 5 wins from 5 in the league. 4 winless in the league since, mixed in their Open Cup journey. Here's Amang. Amang steps in, lays off. Jameson! Off the bench, onto the score sheet. Bryce Jameson, a monster goal for Orange County.
And you have to give Amang a lot of credit here because he creates this opportunity with the way he goes and closes down with the ball with pressure. Then when he has the ball, he drives forward with purpose. And then just when you think the opportunity is gone, with the layoff, Jameson does well to get the ball out his feet and drill it home into the bottom corner to give Orange County the 3-2 lead with just over 10 minutes remaining. But Amang deserves a lot of credit for creating this opportunity, from the first interception to driving forward to the assist, and then Jameson having that impact that he was brought into the game to do, out his feet and drills it home into the bottom corner.
The goal is presented by Hogue. First of the season for Bryce Jameson, the highly celebrated youth international. And the 18-year-old has put Orange County in front for the second time tonight. This is the first time all season that Orange County has managed 3 goals in a game, and that is their 4th goal this season from a substitute. That's most in the league.
And this is needed. We spoke about the head coach challenging their courage, challenging their intensity, challenging their bravery. There's no better way to respond than come out in front of your home fans and be able to pick up 3 points. However, still 12 minutes to play. They've conceded 2 goals tonight. Despite them having the lead 2-1 up, they went and conceded. So it's going to be very important to see how they focus as a team. It's going to be taking an effort for all the 11 players to lock this up. But in terms of responding to the coach's demands of them and the coach's questions of them in terms of character, intensity, and bravery, I think Orange County have ticked all 3 of those boxes tonight.
Orange smoke lingers as Orange County take their foot off the accelerator for the first time in about 15 minutes. Down into the corner, that's kept in, or was it? The AR unperturbed, perhaps obfuscated by the smoke. And there's a little extra after the fact, one that might have been a bit overdone. You can tell Bryant knows there wasn't much in that. Bryant and Amang, yeah, not a lot. The award season is over, right?
It's catch-22, right? You do, at the same time, Amang cannot retaliate. So if you can't retaliate, you kind of just have to exaggerate the situation to a point where the referee can't ignore the actions of the player who's offending. And you're hoping that he then adheres to the laws of the game and makes the best decision or choice. But if the referee doesn't, then you're left in no situation where you kind of left to retaliate for yourself. So the players are kind of in a tough spot either way. If you exaggerate it, you're a villain. If you retaliate, you're a villain. So it's kind of lose-lose for the one who's on the receiving end.
Amang, by the way, the assist on the previous goal, to your point. Couple of goal contributions tonight. That's his first of the year. Go with his 5th goal. Amang able to swipe this away. He's on the run. Carroll, stride for stride. Amang settles, played centrally, and sent out for a corner by a retreating Detroit defense. That's one way to retaliate.
Amang giving these defenders for Detroit City nightmares right now. Just dynamic, explosive, tenacious in possession of the ball. Able to pick up the ball, drive forward, get his team higher up the field. Just needs a little bit of support, a little bit quicker for that final pass, but it's come to life in the second half.
City side fiber corner. The set piece service from this side has been excellent. Header, snap back across the face of goal and will escape beyond the grasp of Ali Koot.
Just off target. Zubac probably realized if he watches it back, he probably had more time to take that on his chest and volley into the back of the net, but he went with the header. Unable to test Steinwasser.
Detroit trying to take something here out of the road trip.
This will be a huge result for Orange County. As we spoke about, lost 4 of their last 5 games. In terms of turning things around, this will be a great start for them. Restoring some of that belief and confidence in the group.
Orange County will go away to the reigning champ Phoenix next weekend, and then away to Colorado Springs, then away to Indy. So the reigning champ and arguably 2 of the hottest teams in the league. Orange County is going to make a change here. They're going to bring in Ashish Chata off the bench. And that's it for Olaski. Sub brought to you by MedEquip. So with Fox coming in at center back, it was unclear whether or not he was fit for a full 90. He's coming off of an injury. Seth Kasipli coming off an injury as well, it should be noted. And Ashton Miles out because of the red card. I was talking to Morten Carlson. I said, well, what happens if something happens to your center back? either one, Nakam or Fox. He said, you have any ideas? A little bit thin back there, but one of those would be bringing Chata in at outside back and ultimately slotting one of their outside backs, Owen Lamb, inside if need be. So Chata could come in and provide a defensive presence. He's played some outside back, or he could play in midfield as we get into the final 10 minutes.
Or he may have to revamp his formation and go to 3 players at the back. But given they're in control in this game right now, I think it's more a case of game management for these remaining 10 minutes. They need the experienced players on the field to control the tempo of play, to keep players organized, disciplined in their team shape. They don't need to go chasing the ball and get caught out at these moments. They just need to be very resolute defensively for the remaining 10 minutes of this game.
Murphy played a dime in the 19th minute off the head of Carroll. Gave Detroit a 1-0 lead. A lot's happened since, but that's the quality Murphy possesses. Header snap backward, brought down Amumensa. Coot, Amumensa flicks this into the area, header up. Matthews trying to get beneath it. He settles, knocks it back toward Morris. Back set header. Body's flying in front of the 6. Coot denied. Maybe more for him, guiding it toward the end line for a corner.
Good defending there from Nakeem.
Connor Rutz waits to enter. He'll have to wait till after the set piece. Coot swinging inward. Shuttler got a fist out. Amumensa retains, floated up forward by Morris. Matthews. Amang went down. And they've seen that and given a foul. By the way, Orange County, they only made 3 changes, but they used all 3 windows to do it. The only change they could make from here is with a potential concussion substitute if they need it. That's it for Murphy. Rutz comes on with 4 minutes and stoppage time remaining for his 6th appearance of the season.
Right now, if the result was to stand, Orange County will climb themselves up into 3rd place in the Western Conference. Detroit would remain in 6th in the Eastern Conference.
Amang appears poised to continue. I have a feeling there is going to be a substantial amount of stoppage time. Job. Rutz able to wheel away from Scott. Driven in for Matthews. Ooh. Matthews brought it down, collides. Net is empty, and that is fired out of play by a flying Ben Morris.
Glad to see that touch again there from Matthews. The ball's traveling over his shoulder. Has the composure to just try and bring this down his laces, and it's not bad at all. It's the positioning of Shuttler that really saves this opportunity. Shuttler's position so well that when Matthews controls this, he's already there on his toes to close him down. Had Shuttler stayed in his goal line, that might have been one of the goals of Matthews' career with that first touch.
Shuttler helped back up.
Follow-up shot blasted high and wide over the crossbar, but Detroit still prodding.
Matthews settled that and got a shot off in what, 2 yards?
Shuttler's positioning there was exceptional. In honesty, most times goalkeepers aren't that proactive. They're not that far out in those situations. They're normally on their, a little closer to their goal line, but his positioning was spot on to snuff out that attack.
Former All-American at Virginia, second round pick of FC Dallas. That was nearly friendly fire. So slide in from Flood. It's out for a corner. Delivered away, chopped out of the air. Coot appeals in all directions. That is a free kick. What a place to get one in the 90th minute. Seated by Zubak.
Zubak has been very industrious in his work rate today, in both directions, whether it be making runs forward, tracking players back. He's putting an honest shift for his team. A lot of Detroit City bodies in this box. Coot with the outswinging delivery.
Ali Coot could have quite the moment here. That header is above the bar. The shuttler goes sprawling back into the net.
Anything on target, and that's the equalizing goal. Just unable to get above the ball and head it down. But that was the chance. Contested well. I think it might have been Zubak again in and amongst the thick of things. Is that 9? 4? Oh. I know you said there was going to be a lot. I was like, whoa.
No, there's no VAR in this league, Chris. 4 added minutes. Wait. It is 9. It just took a moment for...
I know my eyes weren't deceiving me. I know.
We got a long way to go, and stoppage time is brought to you by Zulfagari Law Firm. Even without VAR, we dropped a 9 spot on him.
Still plenty of time to play in this game with the additional 9 minutes.
That explains why the crowd went nuts in real time. A handful of injuries, the penalty, plenty of arguments.
Still enough time for Detroit to try and steal an equalizer.
Amang tried to rise up in front of Amu Mensah, who's in position. Morris off the deflection, maintains, got it by Scott, who siphons it off for Orange County. Detroit 70% of the ball over the last 15 minutes. Sent upfield for Chata, kept away, but into the path of Bryce Jameson, who scored the go-ahead Orange County goal, just his 3rd in league play for the club. Bryant taken out, play on. Matthews, the advantage had played out.
Bit of retribution there for that flick from Bryant, where he flicks it over the top of the play with the outside of his right foot. Not impressed. Some of the comments being thrown in his direction.
Rutz. Touch got away. Jameson pulled down. He had plenty of support behind him, and Rutz shown yellow.
For sure, he's lucky to get away with that. Jameson puts him under pressure, steals the ball from him. There was no doubt about to be on the counter-attack and drive forward to goal. Smart foul from Rutz, in all honesty. He knew that he was in problems if he didn't bring him down there.
Rutz, you could argue, is consequential a player for Detroit as anybody the last 2 years. About 5,500 minutes in that span. Only his 6th appearance, all off the bench this year under new management. Precious time ticks away. Ooh, Carroll whistled for the foul.
Amang, again, good use of his body, just protecting the ball and drawing the free kick. number of Orange County players over here on the left side, just probably trying to kill the clock in this corner.
Gave it away cheaply, but able to send it back through Shuttler. Shuttler, who had that wild equalizing goal opening week against Sacramento. Carroll sets play for Detroit.
Detroit throwing bodies forward in these closing stages.
Coote holds off Gasipli, seeking Matthews. Rolling up Bryant. He got rolled over.
And you have to reward the effort of Amang. You have to be careful here with that. Very careful. You have to reward the effort of Amang to track back, to put pressure on the player, but doesn't need to give away the free kick. Just leans his shoulder into the back of Brian in that situation.
Amang's got to move on from this. Something that, you know, was brought up in our conversation with Morgan Carlson earlier in the week. Some things really dug at him last week against Loudoun. Need to be smart here because they've set him up again against Evan Amumensa. One-on-one on the set piece.
And you can see at the back post there's already a few players free at the back post here for Detroit.
Bryant's back behind, so really Amang is there to cover both Amumensa and Bryant.
If this ball is delivered with any type of quality towards that back post area, two players free to attack.
The wall features 3 for Orange County. Still 3 minutes remaining. Put in play and sent toward goal. Last above. So Matthews went for glory with 2.5 minutes remaining.
If he scores it, he's a hero. He misses the target like that. I think that you have to look at the other options that he had in that situation. Players at the back post with good area ability, completely unmarked.
If he scores it, he's a wizard. Amumensa gets it upfield. Williams. Overcooked.
Orange County will be happy that with that just allows a few more seconds to tick off the clock. There'll be no rush to get this ball and get it back into play. They'll milk it for as long as they can.
Detroit without a league win since April 20th. That now seems quite likely to continue. Arguably the most, at least publicly, historic win in their history has come in the interim against Houston. Steinwasser, at this point, had to be a bit dangerous. He succeeded, he launches forward.
Good feet there from Steinwasser to get himself away from Amang, who was bearing down on him with pressure.
He's a bit slow to find Bryant. Allows Orange County to angle into that side.
Less than 60 seconds left. Detroit have to get the ball into the box with some quality.
Floats up, header steered down. Flood arrives. He's shielding toward the end line. He had to play it. And he put it out for a corner. Detroit has a chance for a really special moment here in the 99th minute.
Yeah, they just need to relax. Composure, quality delivery into the box. Huge opportunity here. Possibly the last kick of the game.
Ali Coote. Coote hangs the service header down, steered aside, appeal for handball. Referee said no. out to the halfway line. We've gone 99. Is there any time for Detroit now? No, it's over. Bryce Jameson, the winner. Orange County's 4-game losing streak in the rear view. And OCSC pick up a wild 3-2 win over Detroit City.
You have to give Orange County credit and how they faced adversity, how they bounced back from this game. Amang chased down everything, created opportunities out of nothing. The go-ahead goal comes from his work rate, his tenacity, his willingness to go on pressure and put defenders under intense pressure, wins the ball, drives forward, gives the layoff for Jameson, who takes a touch and buries it into the back of the net. Amang is rightfully tonight's man of the match, presented by
Hogue. Among a goal and an assist, and credited there at the end by Danny Dicchio, a guy who knows. We'll put in a real 100-minute effort tonight.
Orange County jamming.
Deservedly so. That's a proper flair tonight in Orange County. OCSC defeat Detroit 3-2. Our Pulse game is brought to you by Raising Cane's. We'll take a look at the highlights, wrap this one up on the other side. A remarkable effort tonight. The final score is brought to you by Raising Cane's, the official chicken finger of Orange County Soccer Club. County Line Coalition enjoys it. Special gnarly scarf, special gnarly flag wave. Here at the Champ, OCSC wins it 3-2. With Chris Nurse, Mike Watts, let's wrap this one up. But we start with our full-time highlights. They're brought to you by Omega Accounting. And if you're Orange County, falling behind in the 19th on a set piece was not in the cards.
Great header here from Carroll. Gets up well, redirects the ball past the goalkeeper into the side net and gives his team a 1-0 lead. However, it wasn't going to be enough.
Carroll, the opening goal, first of the season for him, a proper celebration. The response from Orange County was very Amang-centric in the 40th.
Amang bullying Amu Mensah here. Ball's delivered over the top, keeps his eye on it, grips Amu Mensah, moves him out of the way. Half volley, deflects into the back of the net, past Steinwasher. Level pegged 1-1.
And then Kyle Scott in the 57th, first lead for OCSC.
Cool, calm and collective finish. All starts with Velosky with a pass forward, but Scott arrives at the right time with a composure, slots this into the side netting with precision.
Over 50 matches for Orange County, his first goal. Then the penalty in the 65th minute.
Could be a little dubious. The contact, was it enough for Williams to go down spinning like that? Referee said it was enough. Points to the spot.
And in the 68th minute, after much discussion, Abdoulaye Diop, no question.
Slots it into the side netting despite Shuttler guessing the right way. The power, the accuracy was too much for him to keep it out the back of the net. Tied the game up 2-2.
Only for Amang and Jameson to combine on the winner.
Amang's tenacity created this opportunity, wins the ball, drives forward, slots it off for Jameson, takes a touch, drills it into the bottom corner, and that'll be the winning goal for Orange County. 3-2.
Here's a look at the full-time stats. They're presented by Hogan. A chance, Chris, for your final thoughts tonight.
Possession throughout the game, meh. Shots on goal, Amang, chances created. That was a decisive factor, and Amang was probably a difference maker between the two teams tonight. He was a thorn in the side the whole night for Detroit City. Created, scored his own goal. He was the difference maker and was rightfully the man of the match.
For the first time this year, Orange County win after conceding the opening goal. And Detroit City, 5 winless in the league. Their longest since June and July of last year, a run of 6 games, one that ultimately saw them plummet through the standings, but not miss the playoffs. They ended up with the biggest upset of the USL postseason. Still a long way to go, but on June 1st, in a day with more USL matches than any in history, we get a 5-goal thriller here tonight in Orange County. OCSC wins it 3-2. Final score brought to you by Raising Cane's. For Chris Nurse, entire team, Mike Watts saying so long. Have a good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.